This, my friends, is the Swish edition.
It sure is. How are you?
I'm delightful. How are
Yeah,
you?
you're delightful. You look pretty today.
Oh, thanks. You look happy. Happy is on your t-shirt. What does that mean?
It does say happy. So there's a place here in Las Vegas, down right across the street from the Wynn Casino, called Happy Camper, and see the little camper.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's one of our favorite places. It has a roof that retracts and all the walls go down, so it can be totally open air if the weather's nice.
Oh,
Or
wow.
they can close it up. They have about 1,000 disco balls on the ceiling. They make the most amazing pizza. They have an incredible whipped feta appetizer that we
Oh,
absolutely love.
that sounds yummy.
And it's just a super, super fun place to take guests. I took my mom and dad there. They loved it. It's just a fun place. And sometimes you have to get out of the casinos and do something different. So it's really fun. It's really fun. So I'm doing an advertisement for them today. They're not paying
Love
us.
it. Love it.
I wish they'd pay us.
They should be.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I have breaking news for you.
Oh, yeah?
Because of inflation and the insane food prices at the grocery stores,
Yeah.
the 5-second rule has now been extended to 8 seconds. So if you drop something,
Oh,
Kristen,
yeah.
you're allowed to pick it up and save it. It
For
will not kill
sure.
you.
Yeah, for sure you need to eat it and not throw it away.
That's right. You're getting an extra. Well, in my house, let me tell you, that does not happen here, because anything that falls on the floor, one, a dog is going to get it before I can get it.
Yeah.
And two, even if I can get it, it's going to be covered in dog hair.
So unless you can wash it off, you're definitely throwing it out.
Exactly.
8 seconds or no.
So I have a note here that you probably don't have in front of you, but I want you to tell this Easy Pass story, because I think it's actually affecting a lot of people across the country.
Yeah, I don't know if I thought maybe it was primarily an East Coast, like 95 corridor thing where all the Easy Pass lanes are over on this side of the country. But there's this phenomenon where I would say at least 3 to 5 times a week, I get a text from a random number that says something threatening like, your Easy Pass balance is overdue. You owe whatever random number of money. If you don't pay, by this deadline, something terrible is going to happen to you, over and over again. And every time I delete and block the number, and the text pops up again from another number. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy. I'm actually getting them too, and we don't even have Easy Pass here. So obviously these scammers have gotten millions and millions of phone numbers, probably from one of the 85 million data breaches that we've had in the last couple of years.
Yep.
And they're just like, hey, even if we only get 0.5% of people to fall for it, it will make some money.
Yeah. It's so frustrating, and I hate the idea that they're preying on potentially the elderly or anyone who, I mean, you can imagine if you hadn't heard about this and you saw it for the first time, you might fall for it, and it just makes me so angry.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm falling for nothing, and I don't even trust the legit stuff that I'm getting. I don't trust anything, and I don't follow any links to a website ever. Right. If I need to go to Bank of America, not that that's where my money is, but if I had to go there, I go there on my own. I do not follow a link that they send me.
Right.
And if you need to call, also if you need to call a company, look up the number on your own. Don't trust them that they're telling you the right number to call. You know what I mean?
I can't remember the last time I called a company, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of crazy. I try not to. I don't like to talk to people, which is funny since I talk for a living. But I don't even want to call the dentist office. I don't want to call for the plumber to come to that. I hate talking. So I always go to their website and like, do they have an online thing where I can
chat?
Yeah. And of course that never works. But
I feel the same way. I would much rather chat with someone than have to actually make a phone call.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that terrible?
Did I tell you about, because I have a trip coming up. I won't tell you where, because I only talk about trips after the fact, not before.
That's smart.
Yeah, it's smart. But I needed to go to an East Coast city, and I was going to go on JetBlue. So I'm all excited because JetBlue, I don't know if, have you ever flown them?
Yes, way back in the day when they used to fly out of Dulles. They don't anymore, I don't think.
They're Mint class, which is their version of first class. They don't have it on every route, but they do have it from Las Vegas to a couple U.S. cities. And I wanted to be in Mint class, and there were,
Of course you did.
I checked the flights, and I saw that there were 2 Mint capsules, whatever they call them, pods. They have lay flat beds. They're amazing. And it said there were 2 left available. So I go through the whole process of booking the flight, and then it gets to the seat selection, and they say there are no seats. We'll just give you the best available. And I'm like, oh no, oh no. I never book a flight unless I book this, lock in the seat, because I need to sit in a very specific place.
Yes, I know. But I don't understand because how could they give you a price on a whatever Mint Pod seat and then tell you, I mean, they quoted you a price at the beginning of the
Yeah.
transaction, right?
Well, they claimed I was going to get a Mint Pod, but they weren't going to let me pick one. And I'm like, no, that's not happening. And I was talking to my dad about this, and he said, well, they probably oversold the flight. They sell more tickets than they have seats.
Sure.
Every airline does that. So I'm like, well, no, I'm not flying on that because I don't want to be in that position.
Because then there's the potential for you 2 days before your flight,
get
when you
bumped.
check in, it'll say, oops, sorry, no Mint Pods available. We'll give you a refund this much and you're just in a regular seat.
Yeah, in a middle seat in coach. Yeah, which ain't happening all the way across the country. So now I'm flying Delta, which is probably going to be a better experience anyway.
Probably.
And I've only flown them once in my entire life, so this will be my second time flying
I
Delta.
don't know if I've ever flown Delta.
They're the #1 airline in the United States right now. So, yeah. Hey, I want to talk about this. Just to switch things up a little bit. I want to talk about. We were watching videos the other night, right? Sometimes when we're drinking and hanging out at the house, we'll go to Apple Music on the TV in our family room and put up videos. So they have curated stations, and we always pick either 80s or 90s sometimes. Sometimes we'll put on the early 2000s, and it's fun. So we put on the 80s station, and we're jamming around the house, listening to all the old classic videos that you and I grew up with. And guess what comes on? Total Eclipse of the Heart by Bonnie Tyler.
Oh my goodness.
And I decided we need to do a section on the show. What were some of our favorite songs from growing up? And literally, this was one of my absolute favorite, and still one of my favorite songs. You guys know the song.
Really?
You don't know it?
Of course I know it, but it's really one of your favorite songs of all time.
Yeah, because I love this line, living in a powder keg and giving off sparks. That's me. That's my life.
Oh, is it?
That's my life. I feel like I'm living in a powder keg, especially this week. I'm trying very hard not to look at my IRA.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Don't look at your investments, people.
Don't do it.
Anyway, so I did a little research. The song was not written by Bonnie Tyler. It was written by a guy named Jim Steinman. And it was originally supposed to be in a musical about vampires called Dance of the Vampires, which I thought was really interesting. Yeah. And the song apparently is considered one of the most iconic songs of the 80s.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Would you do that? Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'll give you that.
So I looked up the numbers. It's been streamed over 800 million times on Spotify.
Wow.
And has over 1 billion views on YouTube.
Wow.
1 billion people, or, they've watched it 1 billion
Do you think Bonnie
times.
Tyler's getting paid for each one of those streams and views?
Yeah, and she's still kicking. So the most recent thing that she did that I could find was, remember we had that big solar eclipse maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and she was on a cruise ship, and she sang the song right at the height of the eclipse, Total Eclipse of the Heart, which I thought was kind of cool. So
Cool.
yeah,
Cool.
That's all I got to say about that.
Well, so I have to say, you asked me this question if I could come up with my one of my favorite songs of all time
Yeah.
yesterday, and it stressed me out. First of all, I was in the middle of meetings, so I couldn't really focus on it. But also, like, who that's a terrible question. I need categories like favorite song of the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or whenever, or genre, favorite pop song, favorite rap song, favorite piece of classical music. Like, just to come up with one is freaking impossible.
That's fair. That's
put that
fair.
out
I
there.
guess. Well, next time we do this, then yes, I will. I'll put some more parameters on
You
it.
got to qualify it somehow.
I can
But
do
for
that.
whatever reason, when I thought about this for 30 seconds yesterday, the song that came to my mind, which I think would probably be, if I had a month to think about it, would probably still be in like my top 10 or top 15,
Yeah.
is a song called Scenes from an Italian Restaurant by Billy Joel. And I was just a kid when it came out. I think it came out and it was on his 1977 album, The Stranger. So I was, a small child, 6 years old when it came out. But in 2021, Rolling Stone ranked this song the 324th greatest song of all time.
324.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
according to Rolling Stone. But anyway, the song itself is 7 minutes and 37 seconds long, which I didn't know until I started to do this research. But it's because it flows in parts. Like, it starts off, it's sort of a piano melody, a gentle piano melody, and the lyrics are in the first person, and it's describing a scene of two old friends who get together and reunite in an Italian restaurant. Then it segues into this really up-tempo jazz section where the two friends are catching up and they're reminiscing, and then it segues into like a rock and roll song, and then it starts talking about characters in the third person, and it tells the story of this couple that got married really young and ended up getting divorced, which Joel calls that the Ballad of Brenda and Eddie. And of course, in the song, he puts an extra R because of where he grew up, so it's Brenda and Eddie, which always fascinated me. But anyway, so over the years, there's been all this speculation about what restaurant he wrote the song about.
Oh yeah.
And in 2008, when he was doing press for The Stranger 30th Anniversary Edition, he revealed that the song was written about a restaurant called Fontana di Trevi, which is apparently across from Carnegie Hall. And I guess in 76 and 77, he was playing a lot of shows there. And he says that the signature line in the song, it starts with and ends with the line that says, "A bottle of red, a bottle of white, whatever kind of mood you're in tonight." He says that a waiter at this restaurant, Fontana di Trevi, said that to him.
Oh wow.
And so in an interview later with Stephen Colbert, Billy Joel said that this song was his absolute favorite of any song he's ever written and performed. So, and then of course, the other trivia fact is that the characters Brenda and Eddie were in the Broadway production Moving Out. That was produced on Broadway in 2002. So
Wow.
that's its claim to fame, but I love the song. I had no idea it was 7 minutes long. I had to
Wow.
listen to it again yesterday while I was thinking about it.
Well, I think Total Eclipse of the Heart is pretty long too. So we picked two long songs this week. It's two songs that we don't have the rights to play for
play
you
you.
people. Yeah, so you'll have to go open your Apple Music or your Spotify and listen to it later after you listen to us. Speaking of listening to us, if you guys are listening to the audio version of this week's podcast, don't forget, we're now doing a video podcast too. You can go over to YouTube, to the Swish Edition page on YouTube, and watch Kristen and me make the show. And you can also see that while Kristen was telling us that history of the song, my ring light went out. This is my second ring light in 2 weeks.
Lighting is a pain in the ass.
I'm not sure what the hell I'm doing wrong. All right, let's start the show.
Get ready for pop culture silliness. Coast to coast and everywhere in between. Scott's on the mic in Sin City. Kristen is beaming in from our nation's capital. And absolutely nothing is off the table. Strap yourself in, kids, because it's going to be a wild ride. This is the all-new Swish Edition.
I could just listen to this song all day. This is what I want to wake up to in the morning. This needs to be my alarm clock music.
It is very energizing.
Wouldn't that get you up in the morning?
Oh, for sure.
I don't set an alarm clock. I can't tell you the last time I did. I don't have to get up in the morning. Although I did to tape this show. Secret behind the scenes, guys. We're taping this at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Your time. It's
My
a reasonable
time.
hour on the East Coast.
That's right. A reasonable hour. That would be 10 o'clock. I know how to do my math.
For anyone who can't do math.
That's right. Hey, everybody. It's the Swish edition, and it's April 9th, 2025. This is episode 455. So Easter is about a week and a half away on the 20th. Any plans for Easter this year? You used to do it up.
I love Easter, and it is the only holiday, family holiday, that we have consistently hosted year after year after year, and it's my favorite. It's a little bit less pressure, I think, than Thanksgiving or Christmas, and the menu is more fun, in my opinion. But yeah, we're having the family over. We've gotten to the point, and we've always done an Easter egg hunt for the kids, like long before Max was born, for all the cousins in the family. I feel like we're right on the cusp of Max demanding that we tell him the truth about the Easter Bunny. I don't want to capitulate on that because it will lead to, Santa, which is an even bigger deal. So I just keep avoiding the question.
Got it.
But he has said he wants to do the Easter egg hunt again this year, even though he's the only one hunting.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, because all of his cousins are now young adults. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's no one in the family really his age.
The closest one, I think, is 5 years older than he is, but he lives on the West Coast, so we don't get to see him too much.
Got it. Yeah. Well, we I don't know that we're doing anything specific on Easter, but some local friends of ours are coming over the Thursday after Easter. That's when we're gonna do our Easter dinner. So about 4 or 5 days late. But what's good about that is because I wanted to give everyone a mini Easter basket at their place at the table.
Oh.
So I can go buy the Easter stuff on the Monday after Easter when everything's like 50 to 75%. How smart is that?
True. That's true.
For years I've been trying to get my family to agree to do Christmas on New Year's Eve or on New Year's Day. Yes. Do you know how much money we'd save by buying everything after Christmas?
Oh my goodness. That's a bit extreme.
It is a bit extreme. Got some more stuff for your calendar, people. So excited about this. Hacks, the comedy on HBO Max, is kicking off tomorrow. The April 10th on for the 4th season. Are you familiar with the show?
I have watched it a couple times. I'm not a devotee as you are, but I love Gene Smart.
It's so fun, and so much of it is taped here in Vegas, so I love it, and I can't wait for it. Speaking of things that I love, and this is brand new, and I'm only one episode in, so I can't really give a great critique of it, but have you guys checked out The Residence on Netflix?
I didn't know anything about it until you alerted me yesterday. It looks amazing.
It looks amazing. It's a comedy drama whodunit mystery that takes place in the White House in real time. So everything that's happening is happening as it's happening, which is kind of fun. And it stars the great Uzo Aduba. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
I think so.
She was wonderful. She was Crazy Eyes in Orange is the New Black, which
is so good in that.
Which we're such fans of that. I've seen Orange is the New Black 3 times. It's such a great show. A whole bunch of great people are in it. Randall Park from Fresh Off the Boat, Ken Marino from Veronica Mars, Jane Curtin, the legendary Saturday Night Live actress, and then Kylie Minogue plays herself, which is kind of fun. But But here's the real star of the show, and you guys go check this out. Just Google it or go to Netflix's website because they have a whole page devoted to the residents. They created this diorama of the White House, and it's a cross section. Like they took the face of the building off, and you can see all the rooms and what's in all the rooms on every level of the White House. And on their website, it moves. So you can see people moving around and walking around in all these rooms and stuff. And they use this in transitions. So say they're going from the state dining room up to the Lincoln bedroom. They'll go to this shot and then go to that place it's just the coolest thing.
I thought that it was, honestly, when you sent me this link yesterday, I didn't think it was real. When I went to the website and was looking at it, I thought it was actually what you just said, like a miniature diorama of it. It's a real, and then I thought this must be AI, but it's not.
It's absolutely amazing. I don't know how they did. I'm sure they did it on a computer. I don't know that they actually built the entire White House, but it is amazing. And they did actual great recreation. They built all the sets in Los Angeles. So I don't know if they filmed in DC at all, but they rebuilt all these rooms, and it's very accurate. Very accurate. I know because I used to work there.
Yeah, it's super cool. And I mean, the White House is just endlessly fascinating as a topic and as a backdrop and as a compelling point of drama.
And they've used it so many times. I mean, how many actors have played the President of the United States? I mean, dozens and dozens, and some are better than others. I don't know who the guy is, but I think he's gay. The President of the United States in this version. So that's kind of interesting. Anyway, got to talk about this. And I know that you are not up to speed, and I'm not going to give any spoilers because I wouldn't want to ruin it for anybody.
I'm so angry because I was just scrolling. I didn't click on anything. I was just scrolling through Facebook and I saw a picture that was a spoiler of what happens at the end, and I'm so pissed off that I saw it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about season 3 of The White Lotus, which aired their 90-minute finale this past Sunday night. And Dale and I didn't actually get to watch it until Monday night. So I had to stay off social media all day on Monday because I did not want it to be ruined. But we both agreed that it was a perfect ending to what I thought was one of the most compelling seasons of the show. So it just keeps getting better. And there will be a season 4 that has been announced. Yeah. But what's interesting about this, and I didn't know, one of the things, this is not a spoiler, every single actor in the show, no matter whether they had 4 lines or 140 lines, they all received $40,000 per episode. So everybody was treated exactly the same. There were no divas. Everybody was on the same level when it came to money and what their worth was to the production. So each person made about $320,000 for the whole 8-episode run. And it was a take it or leave it. There was no negotiating. You either hear it's $40,000 per episode. That's it. That's what you're getting. I thought that was pretty cool. And also they billed everyone in alphabetical order. So there was no, if Meryl Streep was in it, she would have been billed first, right?
Right.
But that's not the way they do it on The White Lotus.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. Well, here's a fun one for you.
Yeah. Can I stop you for a second?
Yeah.
Can you get the microphone a little closer? Because I'm so much louder than you are.
Is that better?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. All right. So the fun one is a new Chili's restaurant has opened in Scranton, Pennsylvania. First of all, I love Chili's. I've always loved Chili's. It is consistently good. I can't say enough good things about there. And their 3 for $10 or 3 for $12 or whatever it is, their thing on their menu is such a good deal these days. A burger and fries.
It's got to be
and
better than
something.
It's got to be better than Applebee's, which is
Applebee's
poo on a
is terrible.
Horrible.
I haven't been there in probably 20 years, but I love a good Chili's cheeseburger. So, The Office referenced the nearby supposed Chili's on their show a lot. And that apparently is where Michael Scott held the Dundie Awards. I will admit that I was not the most ravenous Office fan. I think I've probably watched maybe 4 full episodes of it ever in my life.
What?
I know.
How is that possible?
I know. It's
one of the best sitcoms of all time.
Yeah. Well, we won't go down that path. But anyway, Scranton never actually had a real Chili's until now. I think this is so funny. And they apparently decorated the inside like it would have looked in the early 2000s, which I think is funny. And then they also have an item on their menu that was mentioned in the series. I guess Michael Scott ordered it once, and it has been long discontinued, but the Awesome Blossom, which I guess is a deep fried onion with cheese sauce, which sounds very much like the, what is it called at Outback? The Bloomin' Onion.
Yeah.
And anyway, some of the stars from the show are featured in the local commercial that they have for it. Scranton obviously loves The Office, and apparently they had a party for the series finale that had over 10,000 people come to it. So I'm sure that the Chili's will be booked in Scranton from now on.
Now I want to go to a Chili's.
Love Chili's.
I just read this morning that, and I didn't know this, the largest chain now, the most successful, largest chain restaurant in the United States, sit down, is Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I think we only have one here.
We go there occasionally.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, we have some of the best steakhouses in the world here in Vegas, so it's kind of a dumb place to go. But yeah, if you don't want to spend $90 for a steak,
if you are looking for a place to take your family on a Friday night and you don't want to spend $60 for your 7-year-old to eat a Delmonico steak, you might go to Texas Roadhouse.
Well,
regular people.
Yes, we love the tomahawk steak for 2 at Strip Steak. It's $298.
Yeah. Well, average Joe American is not taking their family of 4.
Hey,
there.
That's true. While we're talking about television, I need to talk about my new favorite sitcom. It's called Mid-Century Modern.
I've never even heard of this.
Everyone's been talking about it. Do you guys have Hulu?
Yeah.
It's a Hulu. It was made for Hulu. And it's a 10-episode. Basically, it's the gay version of the Golden Girls. So it's these older 3 gay guys who decide they're going to all live together in Palm Springs, California, which I'm going to in a few weeks, which I'm very excited about. It stars Nathan Lane, Matt Bomer, Nathan Lee Graham, and the late Linda Lavin. So Linda Lavin played Nathan Lane's mother. So basically it's the gay version of the Golden Girls, but they refuse to say that. The creators won't say that it is that, but that's exactly what it is.
So funny. Wait, who's Matt Bomer again?
Matt Bomer, he was in Suits, I think, or he was White Collar. He was on that show White Collar, and he was also in what's that stripper movie with
Magic Mike?
Yeah, he was in that. He's done a lot of stuff. So all these guys are gay in real life.
I know who that is.
And it's created by the guy Matt Matchnick, who created Will and Grace. So it's got a kind of a Will and Grace kind of feel to it. But because it's streaming, it can be, they say fuck and they say whatever. They can say bad words. Yeah. So it's fun. And Linda Lavin, as you know, passed away in December. Yeah. And she passed away while they were making the show. I think she passed away while they were making episode 7. And they do an amazing tribute to her. So her character, because she died, her character dies in the show. And it was just done so lovingly and so wonderful.
Oh, wow.
And I love her so much. I feel, I loved Alice when we were growing up. And I saw her on Broadway in a play. And I just thought she was amazing in everything that she did. She was even in The Sopranos once.
She was in a show most recently, and I cannot think of the name of it, with Lisa Kudrow and Everyone Loves Raymond guy. Yeah. And she was like the nosy neighbor
I haven't
She was
seen.
she had just a bit part in it, and she was fantastic.
That's on my list, but I haven't seen it yet. But now I
I
need
think
to
what
go.
it's called, but I loved it.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it. Anyway, if you guys, yeah, it's a good show. You should check it out.
On a lighter note, this is kind of a funny one, which, to be honest, kind of makes me scratch my head, but okay. NBC has announced that they're airing a special on May 13th called Joan Rivers, a Dead Funny All-Star Tribute. Like, what? It's going to be on NBC and streaming on Peacock. And the tagline is celebrating the not-so-living legend.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
But yeah, sure. But like, why? She died in 2014. She was 81. She died in 2014. So I just don't really get the relevance right now. But okay.
Because she will never stop being popular. I literally see a Joan Rivers clip almost every single day on Reels or TikTok or something.
Really?
Yeah. And she was so funny. She was so funny.
She was. And she was groundbreaking for sure.
I can't wait to. I read about this. It was actually recorded already. They did it at a comedy festival. It was done back in November, I think. And I don't know why they're sitting on it until when does it come out? May 13th?
May 13th.
So I don't know why they've sat on it for so long, but
lots of funny people involved with it. Neil Patrick Harris, Nikki Glazer, Tiffany Haddish, Chelsea Handler, Tracy Morgan, Gene Smart, a whole bunch of people. So I'm sure it'll be great.
Well, speaking of Joan Rivers, I just saw this recently. It reminded me of this. Joan said in this video clip that I saw recently, she said, I got a letter from a 22-year-old woman who says, I'm still a virgin because my mother always said, don't let a man touch you below your waist. What should I do? And Joan said, like that, she said, stand on your head. I thought that was really funny. Speaking of comedy, adult cartoons are going to be around a bit longer. This is unprecedented. I don't think this has ever been done before. The Fox Broadcasting Network has given 4-year pickups to 4 adult cartoons: The Simpsons, Family Guy, Bob's Burgers, and American Dad.
Wait, why is it unprecedented? Because
To
4
get
years is a long...
To get 4 years all at once.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes they'll do 2, but usually it's 1 at a time. So, 4 more years of The Simpsons. That will take The Simpsons to their 40th season.
That is so insane.
This thing started when I was in college. I remember watching early episodes of The Simpsons when I think it was my sophomore year in college.
Me too. I remember like gathering in friends' college dorm rooms to watch this show.
40 years of The Simpsons, and those kids have not aged at all. They keep them exactly the age that they always will be. I think Bart is 8 years old, if I'm right. And this is interesting. I don't know if you know this. You know the actress Jennifer Tilly? Mm-hmm. She was in all the Chucky movies, and she did something else because I know she was nominated for an Oscar once. So she wasn't nominated for Chucky, but I don't know. I think it was Bullets Over Broadway. That she was nominated for an Oscar. Anyway,
I don't remember.
She just happens to be one of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills right now, and she probably is the best housewife ever. Yeah. Oh, she's amazing. She's so chill and so cool, but she's also rich as fucking I don't know what. She owns 30% of The Simpsons.
Whoa.
So she's been getting all this money. 30% of whatever they make, she gets. I mean, she must have hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Wow.
That's because she was married at one time to Sam Simon, who is one of the creators with Matt Groening of The Simpsons. So when they got divorced, she got 30% of The Simpsons.
Man.
Yeah. Now Sam Simon is dead now. So
well, there you go.
That doesn't mean anything. But anyway, all right, that's my story.
All right. Well, hey, Scott, remember last week when you were bashing AI yet again?
I bash AI on a daily basis, Kristen.
I know you do. Well, I have another AI story for you. So, you know, H&M, the fast fashion, as they call it, company, H&M, gigantic H&M, they have announced that they plan to use AI clones of their human models. Okay. So here's what that means. They're going to create basically digital representations of their 30 most popular models that they can use in all their future campaigns. But the models themselves are going to get paid for their likenesses because they own the rights to images of themselves, even when it's an AI created image.
Good.
So that's good. And of course, the unions that represent the models have added a bunch of AI protective language into their contracts. But the crappy thing, in my opinion, is that all the other people that are part of that industry, the photographers, the makeup people, the hair people, the lighting and the set people that would normally be involved in producing those images,
they're out of work.
They don't get anything because it's all going to be AI. They're all going to be out of work. And apparently this kind of thing is growing in popularity. And there was an AI beauty pageant last year, which I can't even fathom how that would work.
So stupid. So stupid.
Yeah.
So basically you're giving an award to a guy sitting behind a computer that pressed a button that created an avatar and then put him on the catwalk. I mean,
that's the dumbest thing ever.
It's the dumbest thing ever. Well, I'm sorry H&M is doing this. I wish more companies would stick with the real deal, but this is obviously the way we're moving towards. Everything is going to change because of this on so many different levels.
I think you're right.
And I really am trying now that I'm the age that I am not to buy fast fashion, but sometimes it's kind of irresistible. Like I was in, what's that store? Not the Gap. What's the other big one that just has crazy amounts of clothes?
Old Navy?
Old Navy. Yeah. So I took Dale to an eye doctor appointment and there was an Old Navy right next door. So I went to walk around the Old Navy while he was at his appointment, and I ended up buying like $150 worth of crap. And I literally got like 25 things for $150. It was unbelievable. It was so stupid. And then I felt so guilty about it, but I don't know.
I know. And we're in the stage with Max being 7 years old that fast fashion is where it's at for kids because he'll wear something sometimes 3 times and rip it or, I don't know, get paint all over it at school and then it's ruined and I have to throw it away. So it makes sense for some things, but it's not environmentally sound.
Well, I'll tell you, I just saw this picture because it came, you know how Facebook, you log into Facebook in the morning and it'll show you something from like 8 years ago that you posted. And it's like, do you want to, this memory, do you want to repost it? Yeah. It was a picture of me in this very light beige suit. And I was going to a summer wedding that was outside, and I couldn't wear all my suits are dark suits. And I'm like, I'm not going to wear a dark suit in June in Washington, D.C. to an outside wedding. So I went to H&M and I bought a $99 beige suit. I still have it. And this was like 10 years ago. I don't think I've ever worn it again. However, I'm going to a wedding that's going to be outside in June this year, and I think I might just wear it.
Why not?
Why not? And then when I'm done, I could just throw it away. Hey, I got some more crazy airplane news, airport news.
Imagine that.
It seems like every week there's a new story. Well, this happened at Fort Lauderdale's airport last week. A woman and her male companion were seated in the waiting area at the gate, waiting for their flight on, guess what airline? Spirit. And she decides for some reason that she's going to take off her top and her bra. She was not a slender woman either.
Of course not.
And she had very, very big melons. And she decides to stand there in the middle of the terminal, screaming at the top of her lungs, "I speak all languages." This is a PSA, people. Drugs are bad. Drugs are
people. Bad. Florida people on Spirit. Oh, my word.
Her male companion tried to get her to get dressed again. She didn't want to. The police were called. They got her to finally agree to get dressed. I don't know. The video cuts out after that, so I don't know exactly what happened to her or what the consequences were. I don't know if she was arrested or if she was allowed to fly. If I was the gate agent, I'd be like, bitch, you're not getting on this plane. I don't care that you put your clothes back on. You are not getting on this airplane.
No. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Yowza. So I will admit, this next one, I had not heard that there was this feud, but apparently, Madonna.
What planet? First of all, maybe this should have been my story.
It should have been your story.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you should go ahead.
Okay. So for many decades, the great iconic Elton John has bashed the great iconic Madonna for reasons we do not know.
I had never heard.
He has spent years trashing her, and I just don't.
Trashing her in what way? Saying what? That she's not talented or something?
Yeah, like stuff like that. It was just really horrible and mean. And I mean, she's one of the most profitable, best-selling artists of our time. I mean, why he would do that? I've always, I like him better now because I think in his old age, as he's facing, he's got one foot in the grave. People who were mean their entire lives tend to soften as they get on, closer and closer to death. We could probably find dozens and dozens of examples of this.
I don't agree with that at all. I think age deepens your personality. And if you're mean as a snake, I feel like you're getting meaner. But whatever.
Maybe that's the case in some cases, yeah. But I've also noticed, even with people in my own life, that as they get older, they seem to get nicer. I don't know. I could give you examples. I'm not going to. Some of the examples that are coming to mind, I can't tell you on video, or because I don't want those people to hear them
for the world to consume. I gotcha. All right. So, but back to Elton.
I think he was just always a mean person behind the scenes. I've heard many stories over the years. But I think he's softened and he's gotten nicer. So let's back up to Monday. On Monday, Madonna posts on social media, and she's on social media every day. She posts on social media that when I was growing up, Elton John was this huge inspiration to me, and I looked up to him, and I loved him as an artist and a creator of music. And that's why when I came up and I started becoming popular, I was heartbroken that he kept trashing me in the press. But I still loved him, even though he was saying horrible things about me. Well, this weekend, I noticed that Elton John and Brandi Carlile, who have a new album out, which is amazing, and I've listened to it, they were going to be performing as the musical guests on Saturday Night Live. So Madonna decides to go to Saturday Night Live and watch it. She wanted to see Elton John and Brandi Carlile. And when you're someone like Madonna, Kristen,
you can do whatever the hell you want.
Do whatever the hell you want. You call Lauren Michaels. She probably has Lauren Michaels' phone number on her phone. She said, yep. I need a seat. I'm coming. And of course he says, yes, of course.
Yeah.
You're coming. So she goes and she watches the whole show, and they never showed her. I watched the episode and I didn't see her. And I was looking for her, but I didn't see her. Anyway, she decides to go backstage. She's like, I'm just going to deal with this right now. As soon as she walked backstage and he saw her, he pointed at her and said, I am so sorry. I feel so badly about all the things I've said about you. And I actually wrote a song that I want you and I to do together. How is that for
so
a 180?
Touching. That's
I know.
So touching.
And she said it was just one of the best moments of her entire life. And she was thrilled. And there's a great picture of them backstage at Saturday Night Live together. And apparently now they're going to do a duet together, which
That's amazing.
I know. I'm so excited about it.
But now I got to go back and look up what the beef was to begin with. And now I feel like I need to go search for what bad things did he say about her.
I'm sorry.
I never heard about that.
Yeah,
before.
and I'm sorry that I don't have any examples. I guess I should have written them down. But I think that's just great, and I'm very, very excited about this. And if you have a chance, guys, go listen to Elton John and Brandi Carlile's new album. It's really, really good. They're so good together. And I don't know much about Brandi Carlile, but she is talented.
She really is.
So talented. And she actually did, so of course she was there. She was involved in one of the skits, which was really fun. And it was a really fun skit. That show's getting better. I watched the whole thing and I laughed out loud several times.
I never watch it anymore.
Jack Black was the host, and he's just
Oh, I love him.
he's so
I would watch
bubbling with
that.
personality and energy, you know. I'm gonna skip this next one, and why don't you talk about
Okay.
Coachella?
Yeah. Well, the Coachella Music and Arts Festival kicks off this Friday, so that's exciting.
It is.
Except that the temperatures are supposed to be between 95 and 101 this weekend in the Coachella Valley. But, you know, you're going to have Lady Gaga on Friday, Green Day and Charlie XCX on Saturday, Post Malone and Megan Thee Stallion on Sunday. So that seems like it would be really fun as long as you don't mind the heat.
Yes. So I love all these people, and I would go to a concert with any of these groups. However, I would never go to a music festival.
I wouldn't either.
I can't deal with that many people, and I've seen video and pictures from these festivals. It's just
No.
way too people-y for me.
No, thank you.
I don't like that kind of stuff. But if you're a huge Gaga fan like I am, and you want to stay up late, you can watch it live. They're going to stream her performance live on the web.
Oh,
So she's performing at 11:10 p.m. Pacific time. So you can watch it live. That'll be 2:10 a.m. your time.
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
If you happen to live in Australia, I think it's the mid-morning. So that might be a little better for you.
To watch it in the comfort of your AC.
Yeah. So I was thinking of some etiquette questions and wondering if other people do this, because it's happened a couple times recently where people show up to a party that you're invited to, whether it's a small dinner party or a larger gathering of some sort at someone's private home. Would you ever would you show up empty-handed? That's my
Of course
question.
not. Of
Right.
course not. And even when it's someone who's your dear friend,
Yeah.
and they say, "Really, there's no need to bring anything. You don't need to. I've got the menu covered. You don't need to bring. You still bring something.
You still
bring
bring
a bottle
something.
of wine or whatever. Like,
I'm amazed at how many people. So I saw this discussion online, and people were saying, "Yeah, I don't feel the need to take. If I'm going to someone's house for a dinner party, I don't feel the need to take something." And I'm like, "What planet do you live on?
No.
It's so crazy."
But
And-
don't you think it's generational? Maybe we're old, and this is an old people thing, and young
Yeah.
people grew up like without those kind of social
Yeah.
niceties or something.
Well, they're also the people today. God, this is not the old folks channel. I don't know what we're doing, but like when someone brings me a gift, or I get a gift for my birthday or Christmas or something, I always send a thank you note.
I know you do. You're
Not
so good about
I don't
it.
send a thank you text or an email. I actually pull out a piece of stationery or a thank you note, and I write it and I mail it to them.
I know. You're very good about that, and I'm the world's worst.
I also I try to send
worst.
birthday cards to everybody that I know. So
You're much better about that than I am.
I have a very detailed calendar that tells me exactly when to mail things.
For me, it's not about the calendar. I just feel like there's only so many hours in a day, and those
Yeah.
are the things that just fall off the
fall
list.
off the list. Well, when you retire, you'll have more time, and you can, you can
I'm-
prioritize different
Yeah.
things.
When I retire, I'm 54 and I have a 7-year-old. I will never be retiring.
You'll never be retired.
I'm gonna work until I drop dead.
God, that's depressing. Well, maybe the
It's
stock
reality.
market will turn around, and then you won't have to.
You never know.
What about
Maybe
this?
I'll win the lottery.
Here's another thing that the younger generation people do that the older generation people don't. If you're coming to my house, and actually people my age are starting to do this too. When friends come to my house and they're expected, they'll pull into the driveway and sit in the car and text us to tell us that they're here. They don't walk up to the door and ring the doorbell.
Because it feels rude somehow. I know.
To ring someone's doorbell when you're expected?
Yeah, that's
It's
crazy,
weird.
right? Yeah.
So I have friends that do this, and I'm like, "What are you doing out there?" You know, I'm holding back the dogs, expecting them to be at the door any second, and they're still in the fucking car. And I'm like, "What is
Just
the deal?
come in."
Just
Yeah.
fucking come in."
That's so funny.
It's so weird. Anyway,
It's and along those same lines, I feel like it's the same thing with it almost feels intrusive to call someone's phone out of the blue. I sometimes feel like I should text you first and tell you
Yes.
that I'm going to call you.
Exactly.
Right?
I do that with my sister because my sister's always, who knows where she is. She could be at a sporting event with the kids. She could be on a work call. Who knows?
Yeah.
And if I want to talk to her, I text her first and say, "Are you available for a chat?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is so crazy because it's an extra step. But
I know.
literally, there's only about 5 people that I talk to on the phone on a regular basis. You,
Me too.
my sister, my mom and dad, and then Jacqueline, who lives in Richmond, and that's it. I don't like to talk to people on the phone.
Yeah, I don't either. Especially if you're talking all day for work, and the last thing I want to do is talk on the phone at the end of the day.
Yeah. Let's skip to your next story. I'm going to save those other questions for next week.
Okay, good. I love this. In movie news, Ice Cube has signed on to make a 4th Friday movie. Yes. 20 years after the 3rd. He's going to write it, he's going to star in it, and of course it's going to be called Last Friday.
Of course.
Don't you love that?
I absolutely love it.
The first one was in 1995, which was, of course, just titled Friday. And then Next Friday was in 2000. And Friday After Next was in 2002.
Yeah. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. I mean, if you guys don't know Bye, Felicia, what is wrong with you?
What are you even doing with your life?
And this is the kind of movie, it's on that list of mine that I could watch over and over.
Yeah, sure.
The first 2. So I love Friday and I love Next Friday. I'm not bowled over by Friday After Next, but the first 2 are just so friggin' funny, have so many iconic things in them. And I love Ice Cube to death. And he has not aged. Have you seen him?
I know.
He doesn't look 20 years older.
He doesn't.
It's amazing.
He looks just the same.
I know. Love him to death. I am so excited about that. I hope
Me
they
too.
make it really fast. Well, I have some movie news too. This is crazy. If you guys are fans of The Wizard of Oz, not Wicked, the
The
1939 Wizard of Oz movie, and you're coming to Vegas, you're gonna see it like you've never seen it before. Now, Dale and I teased this several months ago when it was still a rumor, but now it's actually happening. The Sphere, the big, huge Sphere here in Vegas, which has the largest screen in the entire world, is going to be showing The Wizard of Oz starting this August. They've trimmed it down to 90 minutes. I don't know what's getting cut. We won't know until we go see it, which I will be doing. But remember, this theater has all kinds of interesting things in it. The seats have haptics in them. So if there's an explosion or if there's a shaking of a house falls on a witch or something, your seat shakes like this.
That would be so cool.
They can inject smells and mist into the theater. It's just amazing. So the whole movie is going to be an experience of not just visual and audio, but just you're going to feel the movie. So I'm very, very, very excited about this.
That sounds like a really cool experience.
Yeah. I hope it does really well for them because they're losing money.
Oh dear.
They need Beyonce or Taylor Swift. If they could get one of those two to do a residency at the Sphere, all of their dreams would come true.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In other movie news related to losing money, the Cinema United Trade Group is now lobbying for movie studios to agree to a minimum 45-day theatrical window.
Wow.
Because movie theaters still haven't recovered from COVID when everyone around the globe stopped going to movie theaters. And so they want movies to stick around longer before they flip over to streaming.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that seems fair to me, but maybe I'm not grasping all of the ramifications of it.
Well, if the movie studios want to make bucks off butts in seats, then yeah, I think it works for everyone. But I feel sorry for the theater owners because if they can't fill those seats, they're not making any money.
Yeah.
Of course, they make the bulk of their money on concessions, right?
Yeah, because it's now like $25 for a bucket of popcorn and a soda.
Yeah. It's a very expensive to go to the theater. It's cheaper to get a Netflix subscription,
For
and then the
sure.
whole family can watch. Yeah.
Over and over.
Well, my little last piece are finally, my favorite movie of all time. Kristen knows this. It's Clueless. Clueless is celebrating their 30th anniversary this summer.
God, that makes me feel so old.
It makes me feel so old. Clueless came out on July 19th, 1995, the same year as Friday. And they're celebrating by putting it back in theaters for 2 nights only, June 29th and June 30th, which is a Tuesday and a Wednesday. And I assume that's the only 2 days that the theaters would agree to do it because they want to make money off Mission Impossible or whatever the big blockbuster this summer is going to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I would love to go see it on the big screen. I think that'd be really fun, although I've already seen it 100 times. Why not one more time?
Why not? With a $25 popcorn in your
How
lap.
is Clueless 30 years old?
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Jesus
How are we this
Lord.
old?
Crazy.
Oh,
All right. Should we wrap it up?
I think we should.
Don't forget to watch us on YouTube and subscribe there. Our subscribe numbers are growing. They're still small, so we need you. We need you. We need you. That would be so much fun. Oh, I guess we have to talk out the music because, yeah, I can't play the outro until the current music stops. There must be a way to do that. I guess I'll have to practice on that
You'll
one.
have to look that up for the next one.
Yeah. And I love that you're wearing blue today, this week, because you don't blend into your chair like you did last week.
I just looked like a blonde floating head.
You did.
last week.
You did.
Wardrobe note. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I told Kristen, I said, write down what you wear so that you don't accidentally wear it again next week.
Yeah. But the problem is that I usually wear black. I have a lot of black and I'm like Johnny Cash with my wardrobe, but I'll try to be better.
You are always better. I love you. All right. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
The Swish Edition is a production of Bethwick Media, LLC. Learn more about the show at swishedition.com. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast app or site. But only if you like us.